All right, we're going to continue to move into chapter 4 today, and today is going to be about word problems and developing equations from scenarios. And with linears, there are two main types of linear equations from word problems. There is a standard form, so an ax plus by equals c, where you're buying two things or there's two things in a total. And then there is a slope-intercept form, which is going to be y equals, where there's a one-time constant and then something changes, okay? So we're going to take a look at how to be able to tell the difference between the two, and then how do I actually answer the question, which requires some substitution, and you have to know whether you're dealing with a total or whether you're dealing with a variable, okay? So why don't you go ahead and hit pause and see what you can do with the do now today. We're going to develop the linear equation and then figure out what the price to drive the car 200 miles is. So hit pause, see what you can do with that. All right, let's see how you did. So if I read this, I notice that there is a one-time cost of $29.99. So this is not going to change. This is a constant. Okay, that's a constant. And then I have an additional charge of $2.50 per mile. And per means multiply. Okay, and mile, this is the part that's going to change. So since I have a constant and I have a change, this is a y equals mx plus b, or a slope-intercept form equation. Okay, so my equation is going to be 250x, because that's the one that changes and I have the per, plus $29.99. Now this, remember, this is the constant, so that is my b. All right, now, what is the total price if I drive 200 miles? So we have to figure out, where does the 200 go? Is the 200 the variable? Or is the 200 the total? Okay, so remember, the y is the total. We're looking for, that would be total cost. Well, it says miles, and I'm looking for my total price, okay, or my total cost. So that means that this is going to be my x. So I'm substituting. So 2.5 times the 200 plus $29.99. So go ahead and do that. And let's see what you get. So 2.5 times 200 is going to bring me to 500, plus 29.99 is going to bring me to a total cost of $529.99. So that's pretty expensive to rent a car. Okay, that's pretty expensive. Normally, the price per mile is not so extensive on rental cars, but could be, depending on what kind of car you're getting. Maybe it's a Ferrari, who knows? So $529.99 would be the cost for 200 miles. Okay, so let's just take a minute and really look at the two different types of word problems, okay? Because they're distinctly different. So we know standard form is ax plus by equals c, and these are linear combination problems, okay? There's going to be two items and a total cost, or a total of something. So for example, I bought 3 apples and 2 oranges at the store for $4.30. So that would be 3x plus 4y is equal to $4.30, okay? The two separate things and a total. So it's significantly different than what we just looked at. The slope-intercept form is a y equals, okay? It's going to have your constant, or the beginning, and then it's going to have something that changes. And you're going to be looking for words like per each and every, okay? Per each and every. And sometimes it has a total cost. Sometimes it has a total cost. And that is going to be your y. So here's an example of a slope-intercept form. My cell phone bill costs $19.99 per month with a 5-cent per text over $2.50 charge. So this one actually has per twice, okay, which can be kind of confusing. But I need to realize that this one is the constant. Okay, that one does not change. The 5 cents per text over 750 does change. Okay, that does change. So this is going to be the B and this is going to be the M. Okay, so to figure out my cost over 750, if I just look at over 750, I would have 0.05 and I would have my $19.99. Okay, now this is an equation for over 750. If we wanted to actually have it calculate for for every bill, then that does make a difference in terms of how we write that. So we will look at that a little bit further in terms of writing a more inclusive equation. All right, so let's just go ahead and look at a couple examples here. So this is going to be a standard form equation. I bought 3 jeans and 2 shirts that cost a total of $41.25. So my X, if I'm defining my variables, is going to be jeans because that's the first thing I come across. The Y is going to be the shirts, and my total is $41.25. So my equation would be 3X, 4Y, and $41.25. Okay? All right, now let's look at what happens with substitution. So it says if jeans cost $44.25, how much do my shirts cost? Well, the question is this going to be X equals or Y equals? Well, it's jeans. So we know jeans is going to be X. So that means it's substituting in for the X. Okay, it's substituting in for the X. So the 425 is going to go right there. So take a minute and see if you can figure out what that total is. So 3 times 4.25 is going to give me 1275. And I'm still solving for Y, okay? So I need to subtract my 1275. So 4125 minus 1275 brings me to 4Y equaling 28.5. Dividing by 4, I come up with Y equaling, and this is money, 7.13. Now remember, that was 7.125, but this is money, so you need to make sure and round to that second hundredths decimal spot appropriately. So $7.13 would be the cost of cost for the shirts, okay? Okay, so now let's look at what happens if I give you the shirts. So this time I'm giving you the shirts cost $3.50. How much did a pair of jeans cost? So why don't you go ahead and take a minute and see if you can write your equation and solve it, and I will catch up with you. All right, so let's see how you did. So first of all, hopefully you came up with an equation, 3x plus 4 times 3.5, because this is my y, is equal to 41.25. So if I go ahead and multiply and subtract, I should come up with 3x equaling 27.25. Dividing by 3, x is equal to 9.08, and that's money. Okay, 9.08, so that is money. Remember, anytime we are working on word problems, we have to label. Okay, we have to label. So those aren't bananas, that is money. So make sure and label. That is the cost of jeans, and this is the cost of a shirt. All right, let's see what you can do on your own here. So I want you to hit pause. I want you to fill in all these blanks and come up with some answers. And remember, this is where you're labeling or defining the variables. All right, let's see how you did. So Sally went to the ball game. She bought 5 pretzels and 3 hot dogs. So the first thing I'm coming across is pretzels. The second thing I'm coming across is hot dogs. and my total is 3270. Okay, so my equation, 5x, 3y, 3270. Okay, so first thing we're starting with are hot dogs. So hot dogs are actually my y. That's my y. So I have 5x plus 3 times my hot dogs is equal to 3270. So if you haven't gotten that far, go ahead and hit pause and see if you can figure out what we should be getting here. So I should have 5x equaling 1995. And dividing by 5, I come up with x equals 399. And what is that? Is that the pretzel or is that the hot dog? I was looking for a pretzel, so that's the cost of a pretzel. Okay, that's the cost of a pretzel. All right, let's keep going. So the next one is pretzels. So I'm going to throw in my 325 into the x this time. Go ahead and hit pause and see if you can figure out what I should be coming up with this one. So 3y should equal 15. Y should equal 5. So down here, I've got $5. That's the cost of a hot dog. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling pretty comfortable with solving for standard form. Pretty simple. You're either going to substitute in for x or substitute in for y, and there's always going to be two things and a total. All right, let's take a look at slope-intercept form. Okay, so remember, slope-intercept form is going to have a constant value, it's going to have something that changes, and it's going to have the total, okay? May have a total. So let's take a look at this first example. So I have a cable TV plan that is $24.99 per month plus $1.99 for each movie I rent. So which one of those is the constant? You're right. It's the $24.99. So that's my B. Okay? And the slope is changing $1.99 for each movie. Okay, for each movie. So I don't have a total cost. There isn't one. Okay, so I don't know this. This is what I'm looking for. My equation is going to be 1.99x plus 24.99. Okay, 24.99. All right, now, if this is my equation, 1.99x plus 24.99, I have two options for substituting. So my x are my movies. This, the y, is the total cost. Okay? So let's read what we have here. If I rent 6 movies, what is the total bill? Well, that was pretty simple because it tells me movies. So this is going to be x. Okay? So 1.99 times my 6 plus what I have to pay no matter what. Take a minute and see if you can figure out what my total cost is. Hopefully you came up with $36.93, and that is my total bill if I watch or rent 6 movies. All right, let's see what you can do with this one. So hit pause and see if you can figure out what my slope is, what my constant is, if I'm given a total cost, and then what your equation is. All right, let's see how you did. So at a concert, Nabila purchased 3 t-shirts and a concert program that cost $15. In total, that's important, she spent $90. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out that 90 because that is a total. Okay, that is a total. My constant, well, that's got to be the $15 because I only bought one concert program. Okay, I bought one concert program, so that's 15. So the 3 is going to have to be my slope. Okay? And I'm looking at three t-shirts, but I don't know how much they cost. I don't know how much they cost. I have to figure out the cost of a single t-shirt. Okay, so my equation would be 90 equals 3x plus 15. Okay, take a minute and see if you can figure out the cost of a t-shirt. Okay, hopefully you came up with $25. Because I would be subtracting the 15 and then dividing by the 3. Okay? All right, now let's look at another one. And this time we have to figure out whether or not it is a standard form or a slope-intercept. So be paying attention to whether or not it is a one-time, I'm buying two things and I have a total cost, or if it is a constant and something that changes. So a sale at a local grocery store was offering all fruit at the same price per pound. Valencia bought 1.5 pounds of peaches and 3.5 pounds of plums. She used a 50 cent off coupon and ended up spending exactly $5. So there's a hint here and it says cross out unimportant information. Well, I know I need this 1.5 and I know I need this 3.5 because X is going to equal peaches and Y is going to equal plums. And I know that I need this $5 because that is a total. That is a total. So I think the one that I don't need is the 50 cents because it already took it off the total cost. So my equation would be 1.5x plus 3.5y equals $5. All right, now, what was the price per pound for the fruit that Valencia bought? Okay, what was the price per pound for the fruit that Valencia bought? Well, this is kind of tricky because technically I have two variables. But wait a minute. Do I really have two variables? Because it says it's the same price per pound. So these guys, this 3.5 could really be an X. Okay, it could really be an X because it's exactly the same price. So in actuality, we don't have two different things. We have peaches and we have plums, but they are the same price. So 1.5 plus 3.5 gives me 5x equals 5. So that's easy. X equals 1. So all of these, the fruit is going to cost $1 per pound. Okay, $1 per pound. All right, last one. So let's make a decision. We have to decide, is this ax plus by equals c, or is this a y equals mx plus b? So go ahead and hit pause, read it, and see if you can figure out the type, and then see if you can figure out the equation. All right, let's see how you did. The temperature dropped rapidly overnight. Starting at 80 degrees, the temperature dropped 3 degrees per minute. Write an equation of the situation. Well, I don't see two things in a total, so I know it's not the ax plus by equals c. So I'm pretty sure I'm looking at a slope and a y-intercept. So if I think about which one is the constant, or my beginning point, I started at 80. Okay, so that's my b. So, and I see per, that's the magic word. So that tells me an m. But I think this word is probably pretty important. If something is dropping, that means it's going down. So that is negative. Okay, so my equation is y equals negative 3x plus 80. Negative 3x plus 80, where x is the minutes. Okay, we're looking for How much it drops, it tells us what it drops per minute. All right, so let's figure out how to finish this problem. It says, what is the temperature after 60 minutes? So is that my x or is that my total? So is it going to go here or is it going to go there? If you said that's not a total, you're right. It's going to go in for the x. So it's x equals 60. So -3 times 60 plus 80 was what I'm solving for, okay? So take a minute and figure out what that's going to be. And I think you'll find that it's kind of shocking. And thankfully, normally when we have temperature drops, there's a stopping point, because if this was to hold true, it would be a -100 degrees, which would be really cold. Okay, really cold. So thankfully, normally when temperatures drop, there's a stopping point. Otherwise, that would be miserable. Okay, so the rest of your work today is working on slope, different types of equations, either standard form or slope-intercept form. So good luck and come with questions. Pay attention to things like with the word dropped, increase, decrease, making sure that you pay attention to whether you're adding or whether you're subtracting when you have a slope, positive or negative. All right, good luck.